This is an old favorite, one that dates clear back into the 60s, in which at the time I diligently typed up so I could stick it right in my Better Homes and Garbage cookbook. Of course, you'll note that it was typed up on a real typewriter. Does anyone remember typewriters? Just for the record, this is what I typed it on. Back before electricity was invented. This is the one that got me through school, and it even still has the original owner's manual, which had my name and address typed across the top of it. The print date for this was November of 1952. I have no doubt that if I could type one key at a time, if I could get a ribbon for it, I could still type on it. But I digress. It was first cooked for me by a very good friend who had gone to Hawaii and who theoretically picked up the recipe over there and brought it back with her. When I fell in love with it, she gave me the recipe. Whether it is authentic or not, I have no idea, nor do I care. Traditionally, the recipe calls for a fresh picnic roast. I raise the bar a little and use a boneless pork butt instead. More meat, less waste. More good stuff for me. Now the first thing we do is undress it and wash it. If for no other reason, then you don't know where it's been. And now you grab your extra wide roll of aluminum foil. Or if you're like me and you're too cheap to buy the wide stuff, you get out your narrow stuff. Oh, good. Alrighty. Whack. And you go and get your second roll because you knew that was going to happen. And then you make it wide enough. The objective here is to seal this thing in foil, absolutely airtight. There. Presto. Extra wide foil. And now for the sauce. We heat together a half a cup of soy sauce, and about a heaping tablespoon of MSG. Yes, MSG. It's optional if you don't like it. And about a teaspoon of grated ginger. A smidgen of salt, not that it needs much, and about a teaspoon of liquid smoke, and a large clove of garlic, or two, minced. It's minced enough. In. Bring it to a simmer and let all of these components get to know one another. And then pour it all over the pig. Make sure you get all the garlic. And seal it up. Airtight. But wrap it loosely so it can trap air inside. And when it's completely sealed, into a 325-degree oven where you will not look at it again for 5 hours. Promise. On the side, we'll have some fresh Brussels sprouts, lightly blanched, just for a couple of minutes. And then sauteed. With some bacon. In some of the drippings in the pan that the bacon was cooked in. Sprinkle just a touch of granulated garlic. This will only take about 3 or 4 minutes. And meanwhile, the pig is done. And in the interest of following the tradition, I've always served the pig with wild rice, fresh out of Uncle Ben's box, prepared per package directions, including the packet, and the appropriate amount of water. Boil, leave alone. Come back when it's done. And now it's finally time for a peek. And at this point, the aroma in the house is enough to drive you crazy. Hot. Open it with great care because there's steam inside. And it will hurt you. Rice is done. Now for a sample. It does literally fall apart. Oh, yes. Yum. This recipe just never fails. Time to get this on a plate. Now for the final assembly. A little bit of the cooking liquid. This makes an excellent gravy, but I'm in too much of a hurry to thicken it. I just siphon it out from under the top layer of fat with a turkey baster. And now a little white Zinfandel. And it's time to commit piggery on the pig. God, I've forgotten how good this stuff is. These are great. Yum. Now for a light little palate cleanser, I've also thrown in some cucumbers and tomatoes, tossed with a little light vinaigrette and big chunks of blue cheese. Do excuse me.